Hello, good morning, good afternoon, MadFest. Lovely to be here. We're going to start talking tequila. So, just imagine, what was the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of tequila? It might be a bit of a late night, you might have had a couple too many, a bit of a slow morning, but Diageo is here to change that script, flip that script, and actually make the world fall in love with tequila. So today, I'm just going to take you through, without tripping over, just bring you up to speed with tequila, why we're excited by it, the opportunity we see. Then, going to take you through how we're planning to make the world fall in love with tequila. We're going to talk the power of building brands in culture, and then we're also going to touch on magical innovation that we're doing there. And last but not least, we're going to talk about how we're going to engage consumers with emerging technologies. So let's get into it. So, the state of the tequila business. I'm not sure if you have any visualization of what it is, but actually this business is in very good shape. The last 10 years, we've seen very good growth out of the tequila category. It's the world's fastest growing spirit. And as you can see here, as you tick up from 10 to 5 to 3, the CAGR just continues to grow. Over the last 3 years, the CAGR of tequila globally is moving at 10%. We predict this to continue to grow. And outside of the US and Mexico, which is key markets, it's growing at 30%. So phenomenal growth. Just a couple more stats for you. We predict the category to continue to grow. We're looking at 7% for the next 5 years, and the spirit category, we believe, is only going to grow at 1%. Tequila is already bigger than bourbon in the US, so it's like that's the native spirit. But its penetration rate is below vodka and whiskey, so we see continued growth there. And outside, penetration is much lower. We also have an attractive consumer group with the consumers indexing at a younger demographic, which are into new experiences. But we have a number of barriers to tequila. First of all, I mentioned it before, penetration rates, even in the US, is below where it needs to be. Outside of the US, people don't know about tequila. They don't really care about it, but we want them to love it, yeah? People don't know how to drink it. They don't know how versatile and amazing this drink is. There's a lot of people, their first interaction with this has been a todgy shot of mixed toss tequila, lip sip sack, just awful, right? They don't know that there's this amazing portfolio of tequilas out there that stretch right up and, like Scotch, move into peated. They've got the mezcal varieties of them. I call it like the white whiskey. It's amazing. So, we want to take from that shot moment that people might have a shudder to something more akin to this. Mexican cool with a tasty Don Julio margarita in hand. That's what we're going to take to the world. And yeah, Don Julio's in pretty good shape at the minute. It's the #1 brand globally. It's the #1 brand in the US, the biggest market. And importantly, when you go to Mexico, this brand is loved. It's the #1 brand in Mexico, the heartland of tequila. But we have big ambitions. We want to turn Don Julio into the first global icon from Mexico. How are we going to do that? We're going to look at brand positioning, and brand positioning starts from your roots. So this is Don Julio Gonzalez, and he followed his heart and his passion for tequila and created Don Julio in 1942. He actually was an innovator. He actually took cultivation and distillation into worlds that had never been before. He actually created the super premium segment for tequila, and then he actually then took that out to the world. So he's elevated tequila around the world. So our founding father our brand roots are really strong. So we took inspiration from him and his journey, and we created the brand positioning, which is all built around the insight of life is more fulfilling when you follow your heart over your head, which then leads to the purpose of Don Julio. What we try to do is inspire people to follow your heart. And just keeping on the marketing bent for a moment, the creative idea is that we want consumers, we're going to build a love affair with Mexico. I'm not sure if you've been there, but it's an amazing place. So the place, we want people to fall in love with the place, the people, super cool. And then tequila, of course, and their favorite brand, what is it? Don Julio. That's what we want them to fall in love with, yeah? So everything we're going to do is going to entice people to live the life with the same intensity that Don Julio Gonzalez did. So this is our platform. It's called Pour Amor. Pour Amor means for love, and for love is for everything we do. It's like a rally cry for the brand. It type of celebrates this purpose that we're trying to take to the world, to follow your heart. Great positioning, but also we know that if you really want to build a brand, you need to build a brand in culture. And this is an amazing moment here with the 1942 minis that were organically broadcast through the Oscars. Great moment for us. But that's not just a one-off. This brand has been built in culture for years at a time. Its disruptive, earned media approach has kept it a step above the competition. And from everything from, you can see here the Super Bowl where we lit up a 1,000-foot bottle of Don Julio 1942 to the Oscars, and also winning awards for the product quality and the advertising. So this brand, we want to live in culture. And we're taking that cultural mindset that has built the brand in the US, we're taking that to the world. So from Switzerland to South Africa, we want to talk to the right people in the right way, have an always-on relationship with them in the right bars, and creating tentpole moments for the brand that really elevate it from all the competition. And carrying on from Don Julio's innovative roots, we want to keep building new expressions, new ways for consumers to try and love Don Julio. This is Don Julio Rosado, which is rested in ruby port wine casks. It's got a touch of sweetness and a little supple bouquet, perfect for mixing and sipping. It's a magic drink. Going to change gears for a minute. This is another magical brand in our portfolio called Casamigos. Casamigos is a brand born in lifestyle and experience. You might know these two characters here, George Clooney and Randy Gerber, sorry. These two, they actually, as you do, you have a house down in Mexico and you hang out together. Good mates, right? So this experience that they created, they used to love having people around. They said, let's create a tequila brand that's built on the experience when we have friends over to our house. So the brand name made itself, House of Friends, Casamigos. Casamigos has this unique lifestyle, a lifestyle brand that is actually quite aspirational. You pair that aspirational lifestyle with the liquid, which is super accessible, very tasty liquid. You have a very good recruitment vehicle to take consumers into the tequila category. So Casamigos is an amazing brand that we're taking out to the world. You can just see here the House of Friends positioning and type of board. It takes that casual, energetic vibe of what they were trying to create at George and Randy's house and take that out to the world in a way that is approachable, accessible, and also endearing. The brand itself's done very well. It's the number 2 brand in the US, number 4 globally, and growing at 57%. So we're on our way. We've got 2 powerhouse brands to make people love tequila around the world. Oh, one more innovation. Randy happens to be married to Cindy Crawford, as you do, and Cindy's favorite drink is a spicy margarita. So we partnered with her, collaborated with her to create this spicy jalapeno Casamigo. It's an amazingly audacious and yummy beverage, but it also makes a wonderful spicy margarita, as you can imagine. So, how's the year been? Well, we've actually taken Don Julio to 49 markets around the globe and Casamigos to 33 markets around the world. And we've still got a long way to go. But really, the thought is we're going to spread the love of tequila across the world. And I'm going to finish here with just a thought here. I look after the breakthrough team. I've got my wonderful team here. We've been working with the tequila team to how can we engage consumers around the world using emerging tech. Because I've worked in the Scotch industry for a long time, but the Scotch industry has been building for 200 years around the world. Tequila, we want to build it in a lot less time frame. And in that time frame, we know that we need to engage consumers through a digital mindset just as much as we are doing with the cultural moments in the bars and the like. So I've just got a short video here to take you through what the team's been working on. You're going to see some of this later on day 2. There's a display of a number of the items the guys are doing. So please enjoy. That's it. Thanks, everyone. Hope you join us.
Thank you, Guy. Definitely warmed us up and got our mouths wet just before we move on to lunch. I have a couple of questions for you.
Yes.
The first is that there's a lot of creativity in there, but also a lot of technology around your kind of brand platforms. How do you blend the right skills across those two worlds? Because there often tends to be people that are really good at tech and performance marketing or creativity, and not often the two.
Yeah, great question. Thanks, Paul. I think specifically with the breakthrough ecosystem that we've been working with Tequila, we've had a really good combination and partnership with the brand team. So the brand team's based in the US, my team is based in here, and this team here are functional experts. We've got digital futurists, digital platform owners, and in effect, you marry the two, brand with the tech, and you build it together. And I think that's what you've got to do. You can't be a check of all trades, and that's why we have specialists, and that's why the breakthrough team is there to try and help actually get that partnership. And what we try and build capability, and as you can see, we've taken the capability to some stage with the brand and the brand positioning, and then hopefully the consumer experience is seamless and the tech is silent. That's what we're trying to do.
Nice, I like that. And one of the other obvious trends in your space is that consumption of alcohol is always changing. Like, people are shifting. Tequila is now very in vogue, whereas it might have been gin, and I think rum is also in vogue. But also, there are increasingly kind of people that are not consuming as much. So how do you think about that when it comes to your kind of marketing and understanding consumer behaviour?
Yeah, we obviously have a lot of data, and we call the data, there's the predictable data, which you can put a trajectory out on where the consumption of that category will go. But then also you've got to look at all the disruptive forces that are going to actually, and this will probably be for any category, which disruptive forces are you going to think that are going to actually be advantageous or disruptive for your business? And then trying to pick the ones that are advantageous and getting the ones that are disruptive, moving into them. I think the other thing, Diageo is a big company. We're much better actually, we're not very good at creating the really small idea. We need to fan the flames of something that's actually nascent or actually starting to grow. And that's when we can pull our brand and distribution might into it. So therefore what we'll do is try and create something. There's a little bit of a wave. We'll try and increase the wave and then ride the wave. That's probably what Diageo's MO has been and its success story to date.
That makes a lot of sense. And I guess in your role, Guy, a lot of what you do is trying to create a culture of innovation, because I'm sure you're the only person that does it, even though you've got that title. So how do you go about creating that culture of curiosity and kind of new ideas?
Well, I'd love to think that. There's actually 200 and something innovators in Diageo. So we've got what we call core innovation. It's been innovating for like 25 years. Probably, if people think of us, we're a bit more closer in the way we innovate. But the Breakthrough team was born from another team called Disrupt, but Breakthrough now is what we call a full end-to-end, fully functioning Death Star of creation of type of breakthrough innovation. So what we're trying to do, but we're trying to not break the company, we're trying to de-risk opportunities, take them to the business that is so exciting they just can't help but just, I want that, and then because it's going to be hard. What we're bringing to the business a lot of time is quite difficult. So we need to make sure that they really want to pick up tools, put their money in their pocket, put their people behind it, so therefore it actually has a chance to grow. Otherwise, as we know, with most innovations, it'll fail, specifically hard innovation, and that's what we're focused on at the minute.
And presumably a lot of that kind of building that business case is about the potential value creation market share rather than just the idea, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, the way we look at, we call it impact. So the other thing for us is that, within Breakthrough, we look at a longer time scale than the normal innovation. Our normal innovation is also what's called a 2+1, so two plus the launch year of its impact, normally NSV, P&L based. What we do in Breakthrough is we've got 3 impact measures. We looked at direct, indirect, and ESG. So direct is we can write a P&L, but it's normally a 5-year P&L. The 5-year P&L, we look to get a return of investment that makes it valuable for the business. The second one is indirect. So a lot of this digital work that we're doing here, we call it indirect. You can't really write a P&L for some of these things here, but what we want to do is make our brands be at the forefront of consumers. So that's called indirect. And then the third one is ESG. So we've got a number of teams working on sustainability and water and all the wonderful things that we need to, the things that we need to solve. And with that solving, we've got some big ESG goals. So we've put 150,000 kilotons as our objective of carbon that our team's going to take off the business. So we have those 3 impact measures just for Breakthrough.
Very helpful, thank you, Guy. And one last question I have from the audience is, there was obviously some AI and AR kind of in some of the innovation. Like, how is Diageo thinking about the role of generative AI?
As you would all know, in many use cases, it's trying to find the one that you think is going to be applicable and useful for you, and how you're going to make it a seamless consumer experience which adds value to your brands and to their experience. So we're looking at many different ways at it, and you've seen just a couple here. But I think in the end, it's going to keep morphing, keep changing, specifically the AI space. AR, as we've seen, we've got one use case we're playing with at the minute, but we could see others. But AI, we definitely see many use cases. I think the thought is at the minute is you also, with a big company, you've got to build like the place that the LLM can actually build from. So that is part of the journey that we go on to build a safe environment that we can co-create with our consumers on. You'll see a number of examples there.
Great. Thank you, Guy. Well, I'm certainly, my mouth is wetted for a Casamigo, so I hope there's one out there somewhere for later. So please put your hands together for Guy from Diageo.
Thank you.